What's up, everybody? It is Monday, December 21st, the first day of winter. The winter solstice is upon us. You know, today was a very interesting day, and I'd like to talk about it. I bet many of you got fooled by the panicky down move in the market early this morning. It really got going in London around 3 a.m. New York time. And the market was down, the Dow was down like over 500 points. It was down over 600 points, almost 700 points. And, you know, it was another one of these panicky reactions to the headlines and the COVID surge. And now they're talking about a mutation of the virus, which is like multiple times more contagious. So, you know, all this stuff is sensationalized in the media. I'm not saying there isn't a virus. I'm not saying people aren't getting sick. I'm not saying people aren't even dying. We're talking markets here. This is what I do to help you and to help other people. Very simple. We're talking markets. And I saw that and I immediately did two things. Number one, me personally, alongside, I should mention, alongside that stock market sell-off early this morning, you had a furious dollar rally. Like they were selling euro, they were selling British pound, they were smashing down the British pound, they were selling the Aussie dollar, they were selling the New Zealand dollar, they were selling the Canadian dollar. I stepped right up and I started buying those currencies, okay? Near the lows of the session. I stepped right in, started buying those currencies. I sent out an email to my subscribers saying the down move in the stock market and the stock indices are overdone. This is another one of these hyperbolic, super emotional reactions. Now, I've told you so many times, you don't really have to know a lot. You don't have to be any kind of an analytical genius. You don't even have to know MMT. I'm going to go out and say that. You know, I'm the only one, and I'm the guy who has an applied approach to MMT, right? I tell you that all the time. I'm actually saying you don't even have to know that stuff. All you have to do, two things. Number one, you go against emotion. Actually, three things. Number one, you go against emotion. All the time, you go against emotion. Number two, you control your emotions. You control your emotions. And for many of you, that's a hard thing to do. And I mean, I'm not knocking you for that because that takes training. Okay, that takes training, like physical training, like exercise, like working out, like training in some sport. You don't just become an expert or a high-level athlete, you know, overnight. You have to train for it. Same thing with the mind. Same thing with behavioral control over yourself. I mean, I teach that. You want to learn that? You got to come to me. You don't want to learn that? You want to stay in some fantasy world where there's some, you know, system fairy that's going to take you where you want to go? That's fine by me as well. So you fade emotion. Now, I always say, look, having the MMT understanding, it is an enormous advantage over everybody else. Because, for example, take today on that down move. Two things. Number one is the fiscal flows were the same today as they were last week. In other words, you're talking about record fiscal flows. All right? And this is the primary factor that is keeping the market supported. I mean, the money must go somewhere. I always say this. Those trillions upon trillions that are being spent, the money must go somewhere. They're going to big corporations, they drag up the market indices. You can invest in those companies, you can make money. All right? But we get another, another thing came about, which was they passed the 900 billion stimulus over the weekend. Now I gotta laugh because on CNBC, of course, and if you watch that, you're really kind of like just pumping your brain full of nonsense. On CNBC, they said, oh, you know, the 900 billion stimulus is already factored in. I mean, when I heard that, I had to laugh, because that is the most amateurish explanation. It is the most amateurish, you know, kind of position on understanding what that is. That's like, you know who says that? People who say stuff like that are ignorant people who are trying to look smart and savvy. Oh, it's already baked into the market. Oh, really? The checks haven't even been sent out yet. The unemployment benefits haven't even been sent out. The aid, the rest of the aid package hasn't even begun yet. The PPP loans, all that stuff. The boost to the economy has yet to be felt. And don't forget, 900 billion, it might not sound a lot because the original proposals were like, you know, 3.1 trillion. The House had that package. The Republicans initially had a 1.8 trillion. So you say, 900 billion. 900 billion is more than half of the original CARES Act that was passed in March. Like, if you take away the ridiculous 454 billion that was given to the Fed, or that was allocated to the Fed to, you know, quote unquote backstop loans, all right, then you're down to like what, 1.6, something like that, 1.6 trillion, and this is 900 billion. I mean, this is still a significant package on top of already record amounts of fiscal flows, fiscal stimulus. So to sit there and say, oh, it's already baked in, I mean, that is comical. Like, a guy like me, I listen to that with my experience, and I mean, I'm like, hand me your money, because that's what you're gonna do. Hand me your money. Like, those guys probably went short today. They probably sold. Hand me your money. Anyway, it was an interesting day. It's Christmas week. Thursday's Christmas Eve, Friday's Christmas. Anyway, it's Monday. I sent out the new edition of MMT Trader. Go to my website, pitbulleconomics.com, and sign up for a 30-day free trial. See everybody tomorrow. Bye.